Hello, welcome to this week's Forex Outlook here at xm.com. I'm Rafi Boyajian, currency analyst, and here is me, our chief economist, Michalis Florentiadis. So Michalis, everyone's attention this week has been on Davos, where world leaders, finance ministers, and central bankers gather for the World Economic Forum. This year's forum has got underway even as global stock markets are at record highs. Global risk sentiment is very high at the moment, but we are seeing some volatility in currency markets. So what's the main theme, what's the main sentiment at Davos?
I think the main sentiment is that I think the IMF chief probably gave it best, that there is optimism about the year ahead, that we're going to see some strong economic growth, and that is certainly driving confidence, especially corporate level. And as you said, we are seeing stock markets near all-time highs, around making fresh all-time highs. So I think there is generally a bit sentiment, at least for the medium term, that the prospects are very good. Now, with respect to currencies, we did some contradicting statements out of the United States. We had the U.S. Treasury Secretary saying that actually the dollar's drop was good for U.S. Trade, and this caused a little bit of confusion in the markets, whether or not it was a reversal of the standard U.S. policy of advocating a strong dollar, although I'm not sure anybody really understands what the strong dollar policy means, but this is what the U.S. administration is saying. That is to say, they are not targeting a weaker dollar by default or on purpose. They let the markets decide what to do with the dollar. Now, President Trump came in the following day and said that he was actually backing a strong dollar and he was expecting a strong dollar. So that kind of negated the impressions of maybe Mnuchin wanting a weaker dollar. My opinion is that the market had, the dollar had some negative momentum, and I think the market ran with Mnuchin's statements about a weak dollar being good for U.S. trades, and that was like a catalyst to sell the dollar some more. Now, the dollar definitely has been under pressure because they are expecting other major central banks, except for the Fed, to start tightening. This looks to be a gradual process. However, we're not going to see any rate hikes in the near future. So I think this was more or less what happened, but definitely the dollar, the very big loser for the week.
Indeed, and we saw the dollar touching fresh 3-year lows. We saw sterling topping the 1.43 level for the first time since before the Brexit referendum, and the euro topped the 1.25 level. Of course, we did have the European Central Bank meeting this week. We had some comments on the euro from Mario Draghi, the ECB president, although he wasn't really too successful in talking down the currency, if that was his intention. So what were the highlights from this week's ECB meeting?
I think the ECB chief on purpose did not use very strong language about the euro, because then it would seem that he was antagonizing the US Treasury Secretary. So I think he tried to step away from that, but he did say that the rise in the euro was causing more uncertainty in terms of the ECB achieving its 2% inflation target, that is increasing inflation towards the 2% level. Now, I think other key takeaways was that Draghi doesn't see a rate hike in 2018, or not very probable to see a rate hike during this year, but he did sound generally upbeat about both growth and about inflation. So this was certainly euro positive.
Okay, so let's move on to next week now, because it's going to be quite an important one for the US. We've got, I think we've got non-farm payrolls and the Fed both coming up. What else is going to be important?
Absolutely, we have the Fed meeting, and If I'm not mistaken, this could be the last meeting for Chair Janet Yellen. So probably not a move during this meeting. Fed is going to stay close, maybe a move in the following meeting. But the statement, of course, is going to be absolutely key, and whether they're going to telegraph a rate hike for next meeting. We have the non-farm payrolls on next Friday. We expect a little bit of improvement in the non-farm payrolls number. And we also have Trump's State of the Union address, so a very key speech on his policy priorities, as well as the ISM manufacturing. So very heavy in US development and very key for the dollar, which has been under a lot of pressure. So we see whether that's going to be the correction that took place in the last day or so, like the dollar rebounding a bit off its 3-year lows, whether there will be positive enough news next week for it to continue, or if the trend is going to continue for a weaker dollar.
It's going to be very interesting indeed. Okay, Michalis, thank you very much for your analysis. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.